This is a strand of female human DNA. As you're about to see, the female DNA has a secret code that makes her fall in love with a man. And in this short presentation, you'll learn how to crack this code to get the woman you want to obsess over you, commit to you, and fall in love with you.
Hey, my name's Christian, and one more warning, if you're a woman, this presentation is going to make you uncomfortable because the discoveries I'm going to share about what women want, what they secretly crave, are really messed up, and I promise you've never heard this before. And by tapping into this secret knowledge, you will have what it takes to make any woman obsess over you. In fact, I'm going to give you one of my very best tips in just a moment. You'll use it to figure out if a girl will have sex with you on the first date, and it works every time. See, some girls, they need to have sex early, and if you don't make your move, they get bored and they'll leave you for a more exciting guy. But others need a little more romancing, and if you move too soon, they'll get scared off and leave you for a more respectful guy. So trust me, you need to stick around for this tip. But before we get to that, I need to tell you a story, because if you're a single guy who's frustrated with girls the exact same way that I was for years, then I don't want you making the same embarrassing and expensive mistakes that I did. You see, like most guys, I used to think that money, looks, and a nice car were the way to a girl's heart and her pants, but they're not. And I learned this in the most humiliating way possible. In my mid-20s, I was the sort of guy you'd look at and think, wow, I bet he gets laid a lot. I was making pretty good money, I drove a cool sports car, that's actually me racing my car at the track, and dressed in Hugo Boss suits, but despite all of this, I rarely got numbers, and I almost never got past first dates. I really had no idea how to talk to girls, and I was just painfully insecure. So when this one waitress named Christine gave me her number, I was really nervous. Because deep down, I thought she was better than me. I just thought she was so pretty, and I would have killed to have sex with this girl. And the more that I thought about her, the more that I wanted her to be my girlfriend. In my mind, and I can't really explain this, but she was just so perfect for me. So when I finally convinced her to go out with me, I went all out, man. I spent over $600 on 3 dates with her, and except for one lousy kiss on the cheek, got absolutely no signals from her the entire time about how she felt for me. $600 freaking dollars. The worst part was that she seemed to like me less and less after every date. After the third date, I didn't hear from her for the entire week. I was just so nervous and beside myself, and just anxious and confused. I sent her 6 texts. I left her 3 voicemails. I was really hoping to turn things around. And it's ironic. If I'd only used a sex technique that I'm going to teach you in a minute, none of this would have happened. But anyway, she finally called me, and get this, she told me that she got drunk and she crashed her car. Now, she wasn't hurt, but she did get put under house arrest for the next 2 months. But did I get the hint that she didn't want to see me anymore? Well, heck no. I thought, this is my chance. I could be her knight in shining armor. I can take care of her while she's trapped at home. So I asked her when would be a good time to see her, but she just kind of avoided the question. So, me being persistent and wanting her to be my girlfriend more than ever, I hatched a plan to surprise her 2 days later. I ordered a $50 tray of sushi, a $80 flower arrangement. I even bought her some comfy, sexy pajamas from Victoria's Secret. When I left work that night, I picked up the sushi, and then I sped through rush hour traffic fast as I could to get to her house, because I wanted to arrive a few minutes before the flowers got there. But traffic was worse than usual that day, so as I was pulling up to her curb, I saw the flower delivery guy knocking on her door. And just as I was walking up to the house, sushi tray in one hand, Victoria's Secret bag in the other, the door opened. But it wasn't Christine. It was a guy. He was kind of scrawny and dorky looking, but he wasn't wearing a shirt, and his hair was really messy. And then I saw Christine. She came to the door wearing nothing but a bed sheet that was wrapped around her. I could see her saying, "Yeah, that's me," to the flower delivery guy. She looked kind of confused. And then her eyes landed on me. In her face, it turned to shock and horror, as if I'd done something wrong. And she started yelling at me, asking why I showed up without calling her first, and telling me I had no right to do any of this. So she rejected all of my gifts. She told me never call her again, and she slammed the door right in my face. I felt like I wanted to throw up. The flower delivery guy asked me if I wanted to get a drink, but all I wanted was to be a guy who didn't have stuff like this happen to him. I was so angry, not just because Christine was having sex with another guy. I was angry with myself for being so stupid, for screwing things up yet again, for having no control. Up to that point in my life, dating seemed like a labyrinth. Like there were 100 ways to get it wrong with the girl, but only one way to get it right. Well, as I sat in traffic on the way back home, I knew I just could not go through the rest of my life this way. I was going to figure this out. So I did something that most people would call totally insane. You see, as bad as I was with girls, I thought it was going to take a lot of hard work, a ton of learning to actually land a girl like Christine again. So I left my business, I moved to New York, and I went to work for one of the world's best known pickup artists. I wanted to practice with more girls, so I usually went out about 5 nights a week. I read every ebook, I watched every DVD, I learned every trick I could find. And things actually started improving. I learned how to make girls laugh, but half the time I felt like they were laughing at me, not with me. Still didn't know anything about what women really wanted, and I definitely wasn't dating the girls that I wanted. Worst of all, everything still seemed like hard work. And after spending thousands in bar tabs and taxi fares, letting my health go down the drain, and only hooking up with cheap, gross bar sluts I'd meet at 1:30 a.m., I realized that being an alpha pickup artist was absolutely not what I wanted. I didn't have a real job at this point, I was in debt, and I was really depressed for about 2 months. After all these years and dedication, I still felt like I had no control. It still felt like a loser. I thought about giving up, but I still wanted to date amazing girls. I didn't want to settle for a life of mediocrity. So what was the one thing that changed and put me in the big leagues, dating famous actresses and models, making them my girlfriends at will, getting as much sex as I could take, being interviewed by CNN, Men's Health, and more, and having men around the world line up to pay me thousands of dollars for a weekend of training? Well, it started when I read an article in the Huffington Post about this weird thing called literotica. It's like pornography for the female mind. Think romance novels, but on steroids. Maybe you've heard of that book, 50 Shades of Grey? That's literotica. And as I read about it more, I was shocked and sometimes disgusted. Some of the most popular stories, and these are written by women, mind you, they're fantasies about being strippers or harem girls. Tons of stories are out there about delighting many men at once. And most bizarre of all, about 5% of the stories are about non-consensual sex and other really freaky stuff, and those are hugely popular. Now, you might think like I did at first, that literotica must be a small niche, but women devour this stuff. In 2008, about the same number of women bought literotica novels as there were men who subscribed to pornography websites, and I don't think I need to tell you that there are a lot of men who subscribe to pornography websites. Literotica is currently the #1 ebook category on Amazon.com. I mean, this is the dark secret that every girl indulges in. Chances are very good that just about every woman you know has gotten off on it at some point. And because this stuff is so weird, and because so many women are addicted to it, I began to wonder, what's really going on with the female brain? Because, let's face it, man, if you ask a woman what she wants, she'll tell you she wants a rich guy who can make her laugh, or a sexy Men's Health cover model, or a confident movie star. And that's her social brain doing the talking, the part of her that would never tell someone about her deep, dark desires. But I once had money, and I learned to make girls laugh, and I was still failing miserably. So I knew that it couldn't really be these superficial things that make women want a man. And when I began to study literotica and really understand what the primitive female reptile brain desires, well, a very different picture emerged. I knew I was onto something. I printed out story after story. I bought book after book. My desk looked like I was in a PhD program. I went through every story with a highlighter. I was looking for the stuff that caused women to become attracted and turned on and eventually to fall in love with a man. And man, it was crazy because whether the story was about some badass alpha male or even a scrawny innocent beta who she fell for, the things that led to sex and love were always the same. It seemed like there was an obsession storyline. And when a guy in the stories followed it, it made the women want to sleep with him and compulsively fall in love. So I went a little further. I began to read some scientific research and realized that this obsession story is something that women are born with. They literally pop out of the womb programmed to fall for it. And you have thousands of years of evolution to thank for that one. And that's why literotica is so popular and addictive. Every book that does well, it's pretty simple. It just follows the same obsession story that evolution has hard-coded into a woman's DNA. And what you'll find is that when you're the guy who turns her obsession story into reality, well, she can't help but give herself to you. It's entirely unconscious. She'll tell her friends that it's fate or destiny or something else like that. And it might feel unfair that you're the one in control of the whole process from the moment you meet her until she's your loyal girlfriend. But trust me on this one, even if it hasn't happened to you before, it feels a hell of a lot better than having no control and showing up at your crush's apartment with flowers and food only to find her having sex with another guy. So after months of research, I drew the story out on my whiteboard and I created a step-by-step system of stuff to do and say to imitate it. Now, it didn't work perfectly at first. A few of the steps in the system needed refining. For example, I really don't like approaching girls. And I don't think you should have to practice on 1,000 girls or develop some ridiculous Playboy skill set just to get a great girlfriend. I mean, I'm an introvert by nature, and I sure as heck don't like to get rejected. So I needed something that would allow me to tap into a girl's obsession story without having to spend 5 nights a week in loud, smoky bars. And it took some serious work, but I figured out an amazing social hack that gets girls to approach me. It works so well that out of the 9 long-term girlfriends I've had in my life, 8 of them approached me first. Now, another thing that always frustrated me was how to transition from a number to a date to a relationship, that whole process. It always seemed like a minefield to me, like one wrong move and I would get completely blown up. And I know I'm not alone in feeling this way. Now, it turns out that these landmines are intentionally set by women, and I hate to tell you, but they are always going to be there. That's because every woman's obsession story involves a guy who overcame resistance to get to her. So there's no way around it. I'm sorry to tell you. You have to know your way through this minefield. And I'm sure you have felt the same frustration of having a girl lose interest in you and not knowing exactly why. Well, it took me a while to figure this one out, but by applying the obsession story I learned at Literotica, I figured out exactly what girls wanted, so I just never stepped on these landmines ever again. In fact, when I began to follow the system, girls would casually mention that I made all the right moves. They'd say that it felt like I was one step ahead of them, and they loved it, so they started putting effort into winning me over. And let me tell you, the first time that a total hottie tries to seduce you, you just can't help but smile. I had notes dropped off at my door that were sprayed with perfume, sweet little gifts like candy and DVDs, and yeah, sexual favor after sexual favor. Now, one of the things you gotta get right in this phase is your text messaging. And listen, I know it's annoying. It took a long time to figure this part of it out too. Yet, I managed to create a simple text-by-text system that just followed the obsession story. Now, I even tested this part of the system on a gorgeous female friend who had a very wealthy and good-looking boyfriend. Worst case, I thought she'd see me as a love-struck dork. But since she'd already made it really clear to me that she only saw me as a friend, I thought, what the hell? The results? After making out with me in a taxi one night, she dumped him for me 2 days later. I sure didn't mean for that to happen. She and I were just friends, and I tried it on her to see how she would respond, but unfortunately, she got really clingy and needy, so I needed to let her go. So I worked on this system every day, and after about 8 months, I was dating my first perfect 10. I'll show you her picture in just a second. If you live in Germany, you've probably seen her a bunch of times before. The mind-blowing thing about the system is that it did all of the work for me. For example, I was always confused about how and when to go for the first kiss, but I figured it out, and I'll tell you what I learned in just a little bit, so you'll want to stick around for that. First though, I'm going to reveal the secret to finding out if a girl will have sex with you on the first date. See, there's a point in every girl's obsession story where she's like, yep, it's finally time to have sex with this guy. And you need to be one step ahead of her so that you make your move at the right moment. Screw this up and she will very quickly lose a lot of interest in you. In fact, this is exactly what I screwed up with Christine. Some girls desperately want you to have sex with them on the first date, but other girls expect you to wait for a few dates so they don't feel like sluts. So I developed a simple way to figure this out. Here's how it works. When you're asking her out, and I'll tell you exactly how to do that, just casually suggest that she stop by your place first. Now, if she declines the offer, then you know she's gonna need a few dates to get comfortable. No worries at all. But if she says yes, then you've hit checkpoint number 1. It's a pretty good sign that she's DTF, down to on the first date. Now, you want to be almost ready to go when she arrives, but when you answer the door, make sure you're not wearing any shoes, and major bonus points if you have half a glass of wine in your hand. Tell her that you're just finishing an email and ask her if she wants to come in. If she agrees, you hit checkpoint number 2. Now, on her way in, ask her if she wouldn't mind taking her shoes off. And if she agrees to that, you've passed the 3rd checkpoint. And finally, I'm going to say this. Man, how rude of me. Can I pour you half a glass of wine while I finish my email? If she agrees to that, then there's a very good chance that you don't even have to take her out that night. All you need to do is follow my sex date formula, and she will fall into your bed like a ripe apple off a tree, but so much more enjoyable. Like everything in the system, you're the one in total control. You don't need to spend lots of money, and you don't need to pretend to be anyone who you're not. Why? Because this girlfriend getting system I decoded works on an evolutionary level. It's much deeper than our social programming. Even though it's not politically correct to say this, you and I both know that there is a secret enemy who keeps us from the women we want. And that enemy is women themselves. Women keep their secret desires hidden from us. Think about it. Would you keep your porn collection out in the open, share it on Facebook, and tell girls about it on your first date? Well, heck no. You keep your secret fantasies and your dark desires very private. And women know better than to tell you what they really want, what gets them obsessed and makes them fall for a guy. They're not going to give away the keys to the castle that easily. You know this. Just like with the helpless women in Literotica, they would lose all of their power over us guys. So they come up with BS like, he can make me laugh, or he's got a good job, or he's well built, because it's socially acceptable to say those things. And sadly, this is really sad, a lot of women even start to believe these things for themselves. So they look for guys who have those things, and while none of that stuff hurts, it's not what actually makes women happy. How do I know? Well, this is the first girlfriend I landed after my system was perfected. I can't show you her face or her name for legal reasons, but what you need to know is that I was in about $50,000 of debt. I couldn't pay my mortgage, and I hadn't worked out for about 6 months when we became, official. And the reason she wanted me out of the literally hundreds of other guys competing for her, and the reason she paid for most of our dates, is because I just followed my simple system. I activated her obsession story in ways that the rich, good-looking, successful men who were chasing her had no idea how to do. They'd spent their lives making money and getting ripped, and listen, I think those are both great things. More power to you either way. But because all of those guys bought into the same lie about what it took to get a girl like this, they failed where I succeeded. Or how about this girl, who has made a lot of money as a cyber girl for the most popular adult men's magazine in the world? She's another real girl who wanted me because I followed this easy system. Now, I'm not showing you these photos to brag or even to exploit these girls' fame. No, I'm showing them to you because I used to be frustrated, lonely, and I always screwed things up with the girls I liked. I felt like there was absolutely no hope for a very big part of my adult life. And if you feel the same way, then you need to know that there's not just hope, but certainty. You can land an absolutely amazing woman too. The woman you never quite knew how to get before today. But today, everything changes for you because for the first time ever, I'm making my system publicly available. It's called the Girlfriend Activation System. And I thought about coming up with a cooler, trendier name for it, but I settled on this one because it's quite literally how the system works. When you use it, you will activate a woman's obsession story and make her want to be your girlfriend. So she'll commit herself to you fully, sexually and emotionally. It puts the dating game on autopilot, so you don't have to spend a lot of time or money on it, and you can pretty much skip right to the good stuff. Whether you want to jump right into a relationship with a girl you've had your eye on for a while, or you want to try before you buy and play the field before deciding who you want to get serious with. The system gives you the power and the choice. And in case it's not crystal clear from everything I've said up to this point, the system works even if you're broke, unattractive, introverted, old, nothing complicated, no cheesy lines, dumb tricks, or long stories to memorize. Just a simple step-by-step system to activate her obsession story that even the most dim-witted man could follow and still succeed with. There's just nothing easier out there. See, because I didn't want to have sex with thousands of girls, I didn't want a system that required a lot of hard work, or required that I totally change who I was, or learn to be a master pickup artist and spend every night at the bar. All I wanted to do was make a girl into a loyal, dedicated girlfriend if I liked her. But it just so happens that what works on one girl works on a lot of girls. So guys are using the system to date women on their own terms. I launched the Girlfriend Activation System about 3 years ago, and over 150,000 men have bought it to date. Now, you'll have a chance to meet some of them and hear their story shortly. And these are men from all over the world, men of all ages and walks of life. And today I'm running some test ads on some very large sites on the internet and opening the system up to just a few more guys. If I was you right now, I'd probably be wondering exactly what's in the Girlfriend Activation System. Well, I'll tell you momentarily, but first I need to shut the doors to some of the viewers because there are very limited seats and I want them to go to the right men. The Girlfriend Activation System isn't for you if you're not ready for more women in your life. It's not for you if you want dating to be a magical, mysterious thing that you don't control. And it's definitely not for you if you don't want to follow a step-by-step proven system. If any of those things describe you, then don't keep watching so I can save the seat for the sort of guy I want to give this to. A guy who's kind of like I used to be. Confused or nervous or frustrated with the girls he really likes and sick of seeing other guys having the success that he wants. Man, if that's you, then I can't wait for you to write in and tell me about how my system helped you land your next woman. So here's what you'll learn in the Girlfriend Activation System. 7 things that no other guy knows to activate her obsession story, and none of them require looks or money. Now, Shane, he wrote in, he's in between jobs, and he had to rely on these 7 things for the 2 girls he's seriously dating right now. He mentioned they both pay for my dates because they tell me I'm so sweet and stuff like that. They both tell me that they've never met a guy like me, and it's freaking awesome to hear stuff like this. You learn 3 things that get her thinking about sleeping with you so that by the time you make her move, she'll be sexually hungry for you. You learn 3 crippling mistakes that friends, family, the media, and women have been encouraging you to make your whole life. These are huge turnoffs, so you have to stop doing them. I'll tell you how and when to make each move, asking her out, going for the kiss, escalating to sex, so you'll never wuss out again because you'll know exactly what she secretly wants you to do. And this made things step by step easy for Jesse, who called the girlfriend activation system the total reboot he needed. He wrote in, he said, I'm 42, I got divorced a little over 3 years ago. A lot of things he'd forgotten. He'd completely forgotten the rules of the dating game, things like how to text girls or when to go for the kiss and the sex. And he said, your course is the total reboot I needed. It was comprehensive. It left me with no questions. Girls were texting me back, initiating second dates, and telling me how sexy I am. You'll learn the 4 simple things that will make her think of you as sex-worthy. Now, very few other guys do them, yet they're by far the easiest way to make her want to have sex with you. Now, I'm going to tell you 3 lies that all those scammy pickup artists try to sell you. It's not their fault because they don't know any better, but if you have bought into any of these lies, then I can promise you will never have a truly special girlfriend again. I'll give you one sneaky but very ethical strategy to get a woman who's unattainable. Either she friend-zoned you or she has a boyfriend. If you use this, she'll think about what a mistake she made. And fair warning, women can become very sexually aggressive when they want to prove themselves to you. Kurt followed this tip, and then he sent me this message. He said, dude, I'm surging with confidence right now. Why? Because I just got laid by a girl who all my friends said I'd never hook up with. How did I do it? Well, since I'm sending this email to you, it probably wouldn't surprise you to hear that I just tuned into her obsession story and pretty much made her want me badly. I'm going to open the book to my king game tips for getting approached by hot women, even if you're not rich or handsome. I think I mentioned this, but out of my 9 girlfriends, 8 of them approached me. So trust me, my tips on this stuff, they're worth the price of admission alone. And the cool thing about King Game is it also works on women who you already know, as Gordy found out. He actually sent me a picture of the girl who he'd been dating, and he said, I've been into her for about 2 years, and when I saw your course, I thought, what the hell, I'm already her work buddy, so I guess it can't hurt. Going on, he said, I was amazed at how quickly she began to treat me differently once I started just using some of your King Game tips, and from there it was really easy to get her out one-on-one. Then I just followed the system, and last night we had the talk, and I presume by that he means the relationship talk. And let's face it, whoever approaches who, you have to build her attraction and interest, but there's so much complicated advice out there. I personally found it all way too confusing, so I got rid of 95% of the crap and I distilled it into a few simple things that activated her obsession story, brain surgery, and I'm just going to give them to you. And I want you to do 3 simple things in the first 3 minutes of talking to her. And when you do all 3, she will not allow herself to put you in the friend zone because she's going to be thinking about giving herself to you sexually. Now, obviously, you got to know how to take it to the hoop. And even if you failed to make a move in the past because you didn't know how or you wussed out, you will never have that problem again. You'll taste the desire in her breath moments before the kiss, and when you take her into your bedroom, you'll know how to get her naked in 10 minutes or less. By following my system, you'll make the right move at the right time every time. Mohed, I think that's how you pronounce his name, he wrote in to tell me how easy the system has made it for him. He said, I'm 37, I've always had so-so success, but never really dated anyone he liked. Buying this was 100% one of the best choices I've made in years. I'm not going to say I wasn't skeptical, but it's insane how easy it's been for these last 2 weeks. I met 2 new girls, pulled another 2 back from the grave, and been on 4 dates. Then he goes on to say, you were right about being 1 step ahead of them. In fact, one of them told me last night, it feels like I know every little thing I need to do to make her like me. This was right before she gave me a little sexual favor, and that's when I knew I had to write you and trust me. Sex is just as exciting even when you know it's about to happen when you're following the steps in the system. Now, since you've been paying attention, you know that the girlfriend activation system makes everything step-by-step easy, from meeting her to getting her number to sending her text to kissing her to sex to a relationship. Everything. It all follows the same genetically programmed obsession story that's wired into women at birth. I'll give you the dating playbook you need to activate it, and I'll even tell you what to talk about on your dates with her. If you follow this stuff, she'll be hanging on your every word. And I'll tell you exactly how to go from dating a girl to having a relationship with her reliably and consistently with any girl you want in 6 weeks or less. Just don't be surprised when she shows up at your house unannounced with a special surprise for you. Everything is different from now on. No more screwing up, no more games, no more she lost interest or she lost attraction, no more confusion.
because everything is done for you. Your confidence is going to hit tremendous new peaks after the very first time you go through the course. Now, I don't know about you, but when I used to see really hot girls who I wanted, I'd hold myself back because I was worried that they'd figure me out and see that I didn't know how to handle them. I hated the idea of talking to a woman, maybe even getting her number and not knowing what to do next, but that doesn't happen to me anymore. In fact, I'm now engaged to the woman of my dreams, so I guess you could say I'm a pretty happy camper. I mean, if you just follow the step-by-step system, you will finally overcome that same doubt, that same fear that's kept you from the girls you really want. You'll absolutely radiate confidence, even if you're a natural introvert like me. And this is really cool. You'll gain command over your emotions because you'll know the dating game better than she does. There's just nothing else out there like the girlfriend activation system. I mean, nothing. My promise is that if you put it to use, you'll have a girlfriend in 6 weeks or less. So I know I could ask thousands for it. It's easily worth that much for the results that it delivers. I charge $1,000 an hour for private coaching, and as I write this, I'm no longer taking on new clients. Now, we'll get to the exact price of the girlfriend activation system in just a second, but I have to ask you a question. Are you picky about the girls you want to date? A lot of guys I coach tell me that they have high standards, and hey, I get it. I mean, I've only dated models and actresses since I figured this out, and my fiancée is a model turned entrepreneur. I don't care what the rest of society says. You have every right in my book to be with the girl who's both sweet as sugar and banging hot. I mean, heck, if you're going to settle, then I don't want you to buy this anyway. It'd be a waste of its power. I mean, I think back to Christine. She was 1 in 1,000. And when I messed it up with her, I ruined a rare chance to date and sleep with my first perfect 10. But since then, I've settled the score so many times over. If I knew that screwing up with her would lead me to date the awesome girlfriends I've had since then, to get engaged to the woman I'll soon marry, I wouldn't have just gone for a drink with the flower delivery guy. I would have bought champagne and celebrated. So even if you failed before, even if you feel like the most unconfident wussbag in the world, and even if there's a girl whose rejection makes you feel weak right now, trust me, I've been there, and I know that if you get my system, everything's gonna be different. Because when you have the power I have, the power I'm gonna offer you to handpick the girl you want as your girlfriend, and know that there's a proven system that guarantees your success, man, every day feels like a celebration. Those feelings of knowing that any girl can be yours, of finally turning things around with that one special girl, kissing her for the first time, of unhooking her bra, running your hands up her back as she trembles in anticipation, of waking up next to her on a Saturday morning, her smile for you as bright as the sunshine. I mean, man, I gotta tell you, those are the feelings that make this life worth living. They are priceless, all in 6 weeks or less from now. So what do you think is a fair price for those guaranteed results? The $1,000 an hour I charge for private coaching, or the $2,000 that my inner circle said I should demand for this course, or even the $497 that my marketing manager told me to charge? Well, those would all be fair, but for the last few years, I've been selling this course for $197 to men around the world, and over 150,000 of them have been happy to pay that. Yet today, I'm not even going to charge that, and even better, I'm going to tell you how you can get the course for free. But first, because I want you to have total confidence to join me, I'm going to throw in 5 incredible bonuses for you. The first is an audio training tool. It's called Instant Confidence Upgrade. It's a mind programming course that will literally upgrade your subconscious thoughts, installing the confident inner voice of a guy who's been successful with women his whole life. And as I mentioned, I used to have powerful social anxiety, and this sort of training played a big role for me in overcoming it. So I commissioned the doctor who I worked with to produce this course for me on the condition that I could resell it. And this is a very powerful course. I sell it exclusively to my members who've paid $497 for it, but you get it today for free just for giving the girlfriend activation system a try. Your second bonus is called the breathtaking hello. Even though the girlfriend activation system reveals how to get women to approach you about 95% of the time, sometimes, well, you know this, you see a stunner walking down the street and you know you're going to kick yourself if you don't say hi. So I want to give you the firepower to approach any girl you want without rejection and enjoy as she opens up and within about 30 seconds begins eyeing you up and down and brushing her hair to the side and eyeing you with, that look. That's when you'll know that it's working. Now this lecture, it costs $97 on its own, but I'm also giving this to you for free today. And as a perfect companion to the breathtaking hello, your third bonus training is called Endless Conversations. As you can probably imagine based on what you know about me already, I used to really struggle talking with people. I always ran out of things to say with pretty girls, so I spent hours analyzing conversation pros and figuring out how they made it so easy. And I realized that every good conversation follows a dead simple formula. And once I learned it, I could talk to anyone, anywhere without even thinking about it. So running out of things to say to women, and man, it just doesn't happen to me anymore. And in this hour-long course, valued at $297, I'm going to reveal the formula to you. So if you've ever struggled to talk to women or, heck, even talking to other guys, you're going to love being in charge of conversations after what you've gone through in this advanced training. Now, your fourth bonus is awesome. It's called sexual texting. You see, when you activate a woman's obsession story, you're going to discover a very naughty, explicit side of her, and you better believe that she's going to want to play with you over text messaging. So I'm going to give you my complete black book for sending her dirty texts that'll turn her on, and I'll even give you my text-by-text method for getting her to send you naked photos. You can't buy this for any price, anywhere, but if I were to sell it separately, I could easily ask over $197, and let's face it, guys have stuffed money in my pockets for these tricks. And finally, I'm giving you trial access to the Social Man Society. If everything's been sounding good so far, then the Social Man Society is going to blow your mind. It's a private collective of elite men who are living their lives by their own rules. Every month, you'll get new lessons, insights, and coaching. You'll learn from elite entrepreneurs, world-traveling playboys, and men who have mastered their reality. The Social Man Society is the fastest track to the good life, and it's going to make you unstoppable. Now, access to the society is typically $197, but today you'll get to try it for free. And if you love it, which I fully expect, you'll have a chance to join for a drastically reduced price. Because I always like to overdeliver, I'm going to throw in several other bonuses, but you'll have to buy the course and log into the private members community to discover them. Now, if you're selected to be part of our test group, then you'll have to move fast to claim these bonuses. They're only for guys who can make a decision quickly, and in just a second, you'll understand why I'm looking for decisive guys who are going to go hard for what they want. So the total value of all this material, when you include the $1997 paid by a few men to attend the live Girlfriend Activation System training seminar, comes out to $3,282. Yet, I wanted any man to be able to afford the Girlfriend Activation System, so as I told you, I decided to price it at $197. And men all around the world, some men who you've heard from and some more who you'll meet shortly, they've been happy to pay that. But today, you're not even going to pay that low price. You see, I have a new marketing manager, and he proposed that we do something kind of insane. He proposed that I give you the course for free. Now, why would he suggest such a thing? Well, he ran some numbers, and he discovered that 89% of my clients buy additional courses from me, and I was so happy to hear that. And when men dive into this course and learn the material and go use it, they reliably get girlfriends in 6 weeks or less. And because it works so well, my marketing manager wanted to make sure that new clients actually use it. He doesn't want guys buying it, then letting it sit on the virtual bookshelf. So he proposed, and I agreed to the following. If you follow the course, and when you get a girlfriend in 6 weeks or less, just write in and let me know, and you'll get your money back. We call this our success guarantee. The rules are real simple. In 6 weeks or less from now, you just have to send me a link to your Facebook profile where it shows you're in a relationship, or you can send me 3 photos of you and your girlfriend in different locations so I know it's legit. And please, no naked photos, just pics that you'd post on Facebook or Snapchat. Now, I'll delete them right away, and I'll send an email to my customer happiness team to refund you on the spot. And because we want to get a lot of guys in the door to test this out, we're dropping the price even lower. So today, you won't pay $197 or even $97. Nope, today you can get the Girlfriend Activation System and thousands of dollars of additional training courses for only $67. Now, we're only planning on running this test for a few days this week because honestly, we could completely lose our shirts with the success guarantee that we're offering. So in a very short time period, possibly as soon as tonight as you're watching this, 3 things will happen. First, we're going to immediately raise the price back to $197. Second, I'll be removing all of my awesome bonus courses. And third, I'll be taking away my success guarantee. So if the words "you snooze, you lose" mean anything to you, then you'll understand why you need to buy this now. After you watch the videos just once, my brain and the entire Girlfriend Activation System will be installed into yours, and then you can go out and can use it on whichever girl you want and land her in 6 weeks or less. And I'm going to take my guarantee one step further. You get a full year to evaluate the course. So if you don't get a girlfriend in a year, or you don't think that the system is 1,000,000 times better than all the other lousy advice you've heard from friends and family and magazines, or heck, even if you don't like the way my hair looks, then all you need to do is send me an email or call my 800 number and you'll be promptly and courteously given a refund. My company has been in business for over 10 years and we have an A+ Better Business Bureau ranking. Now, you can't fake that. You can't get that rating if you aren't ethical, responsive, and upfront with clients. So you can buy this with confidence that we've been here for 10 years and we'll be here for at least another 10, helping men around the world and treating them with respect and honor. Go ahead and click the next step button at the bottom of this page right now. I want you to have amazing sex and incredible relationships, and I know that the surest way to get both of these is the Girlfriend Activation System. It's the only step-by-step system that guarantees a girlfriend in 6 weeks or less. When you order now, you get once-in-a-lifetime discounted pricing and thousands of dollars of free bonus courses. So if you want to join the ranks of men who finally have this problem solved and are hand-picking the girls they want, then log in right now by clicking the big orange button below. Because when you fill out the short encrypted order form on the next page, you're going to be able to immediately start your training. Access to the course is instant in my private members community, and you can start downloading into your brain from the comfort of your chair, your couch, or your bed. No waiting for the mailman, no embarrassing packages showing up at your doorstep, just discreet, instant access to my secret system for making any girl you want into your girlfriend in 6 weeks or less. So right now, my man, you have a simple choice. Option 1 is do nothing. Let this opportunity pass you by and let things stay the same. You keep finding yourself wishing that women would like you and hoping for the best and always leaving things up to luck or fate or chance, or worst of all, leaving them up to her. Never getting as much sex as you want and eventually settling for a girl who's just, okay. Or you can take option 2, risk nothing today or for the next 365 days and get the only system that guarantees a girlfriend or your money back, a system that's based on years of research studying literotica and the female mind. A system that gives any guy, no matter how old, unattractive, or awkward he thinks he is, the power to handpick his next girlfriend by simply watching the course, picking the girl he wants, and following the simple steps. I have to tell you, when you seduce her in the way that she's dreamed about since she hit puberty, you are going to savor the eyes that she gives you, eyes that say, "You are the guy I've been looking for my whole damn life." Now, obviously, I wouldn't be so confident about all these claims, my 6-week success guarantee or my 1-year whatever the reason guarantee, if I didn't know that the system worked flawlessly. So all I ask in return for this insanely low-priced one-time deal is this from you. Very soon, weeks from now, when you're laying next to the girlfriend of your dreams, the kind of woman who makes all your guy friends jealous, right after you've had some of the best sex of your life and she's whispered in your ear about how amazing you are, I just want you to get up out of bed, clean yourself up, and send me a quick email to say thanks. Let me know how the girlfriend activation system got you the kind of girlfriend who you always thought was out of your league, because my happiest moments are when I get emails just like that from clients with amazing success stories. I know that your success story can be next, so click on that big orange button below, get on board now, and let's make this happen, man.
I was having really tough girlfriend issues at the time, and I wasn't doing it right. So I decided to, get the girlfriend activation system.
I've had huge results. Like, I can't even describe how my confidence has skyrocketed.
It was life-changing, to say the least.
I mean, I was like watching, I was reading, I was like, wow, this is some really powerful stuff. I was like, I don't know why no one knows this.
The whole literotica thing, that kind of like that stuff, that's for real. And as far as like, I had to learn how to be a little bit less nice in order to give the women in my life what they actually wanted.
It's consistent confidence. It's not like a roller coaster of, oh crap, it's working, or oh crap, it's not.
This isn't a dating thing. This isn't a pickup thing. And that's the very first thing I thought when I clicked on it. I thought, well, I'm going to learn some new moves here, techniques, whatever, right? And I was completely captivated.
It's like a playbook of how women think, and you're like, oh my God, I've been doing this all wrong.
I came to this program in a point where I was ready to learn. And I was just wanted to learn everything that there was to it, because whatever I was doing wasn't working.
This video series, it just got me like the rest of the way. Yeah, I started digging out of the hole and I was making my way there, but that was the hand that pulled me right up.
I think that what you guys are doing is probably one of the most beneficial things that someone could ever find.
Okay, so you're still here. Well, cool. That probably means you have some questions that didn't get answered yet, and that's totally cool. The last time I bought a toaster, I actually spent 4 hours reading the reviews on Amazon, and I like to be informed too. So let's do a little Q&A here, and hopefully I can answer whatever final questions you have. So if that sounds good. First question I thought you might have is, how is this course delivered? Now, I made mention of that. It's a great question, and it's delivered digitally on a private, secure website. So you'll get a full video of the seminar. You'll get all the audio, and you can download all the audio and listen to it on the go. We've got transcripts of the seminar, a whole bunch of extras in there as well, slides of all of that. And the cool thing is that this website, it's also our private community. So there are a lot of other guys in there. They're on this message board. I mean, everyone from guys like you to other coaches like me. And this is where you can get additional help and advice and connect with other guys if you want to. Now, that part of it, of course, it's entirely optional, but I know it's tough to go it alone. And if you want support and encouragement and even more tips, then you'll find it in there for sure. Okay, so the next question I would probably have if I were you is, why are you, or in this case me, why am I qualified to teach this? So here's the thing. I'm a pretty average guy. I've just had such a terrible problem with women and social anxiety and shyness and inadequacy that I basically devoted my life to fixing it. And I've been doing this since 2005. So as of today, I've been doing it longer than it takes most people to get a PhD. And in that time, I've probably read more books on psychology and biology and social philosophy than most college professors. I've also had 9 long-term girlfriends. I'm currently engaged to an incredible woman. I've dated hundreds of girls, and I've approached thousands of them. I've also taught this stuff to over 200 men in my personal coaching sessions around the world. I even fly out to Singapore once a year, where my coaching is in very high demand. And so the biggest reason I'm qualified to teach this, though, it's interesting, it's not because of me, it's because of the system. It's based on some pretty heavy-duty psychology, and it's a work for both myself and a lot of other guys now. So that's really the best measure of my qualifications. Again, sold 150,000 copies. These guys have purchased a course, have gotten results, they've written and tell me about it. We wouldn't have our A+ Better Business Bureau rating if we hadn't been selling something seriously awesome this whole time. Now, if there's a woman you like, you probably want to know how long it'll take to work on her. So this is a step-by-step system, and it usually takes about 3 dates to get to sex and 3 to 6 weeks to get to a relationship. And it could go much more quickly if you want, but for reasons you'll discover in the course, I actually prefer to wait until the 3rd date to have sex. You could do it on your next date or the next time you see her, but that might make it more difficult to actually turn her into your girlfriend. You see, for a lot of women, if they give it up too soon, it makes them feel like a slut, and then they think that that's how you think of them, so they want to create distance between you, and it makes things harder. Again, this is really your choice, but I just want to make sure that you're educated and making the right choices. So, look, you'll be able to use some of the King Game tips the very next time you see a girl. And if you've already dated her once or twice, you'll be able to use some of the texting tips to kick things back in high gear, possibly as soon as tonight. You just got to go through the course and put it to use. Now, moving on, I know that some guys want to know specifics like, will this get me out of the friend zone? What if I blew my chances with the girl? And the answer is absolutely yes. It'll get you out of the friend zone. It'll also help if you've messed up with the girl. In fact, this course was designed with those 2 specific situations in mind because so many guys email me for help with them. So this is a perfect training for you if that's your situation. Okay, another question I get a lot is, what if I'm an older guy? Or, you could substitute older for an ugly guy, or I don't have a lot of money, or all of these are sort of perceived deficiencies on your part, things that you think would prevent a woman from being attracted to you. And, I get it. It's fine. But here's the thing. Because the system works on evolutionary level, it's much deeper than a woman's social programming, so it's great for older guys or guys who aren't traditionally attractive or who don't have a lot of money. Let's talk about older guys for a second. Now, you and I, we both know that some younger women, they like to set arbitrary age limits on the guys they date. And that's fine. That's her social brain doing the talking. But because that part of her brain, the scientists call that the prefrontal cortex, that's the newest part of her brain to have evolved. And so in many ways, it's also the weakest. Now, the girlfriend activation system quite literally works on a deeper, older, more primitive part of the brain. So it just destroys any social programming she has. So if you're an older guy who wants to date younger girls, you'll be attracting them in a way that makes your age totally irrelevant to them. And if you don't think you're great looking, or you don't have a lot of money, or you're short or whatever, again, those aren't things that women are deeply attracted to. They're surface level, but they're not evolutionary. And I've had thousands of unattractive guys and broke dudes and shorter guys buy this course and have success when nothing else worked for them. All right, so moving on, here's another one that some guys have asked. They say, hey, Christian, you look pretty white. Like, does this work if the girl is Latin or Asian or black or Indian or whatever? And, what if I'm Asian or Latin or black or Indian or whatever? Will it still work for me? And the answer to both of these questions is yes. One of my clients, he's sort of a superstar client, I guess you could say. He landed an Asian girl from Hong Kong, Latin girl from Santiago, Chile, a black girl from Eritrea, and an Indian girl from Bangalore. And they all responded exactly the same as white girls. And about 45% of my one-on-one students are races other than Caucasian, and all of them experience equally amazing results. Certainly in different places of the world, there are different dating rituals, different customs. But again, we're talking about something much deeper than what's going on at the social level. We're talking about attraction at a very evolutionary level. And that is something that we're born with, kind of like responding to smiles or yawning. These are evolutionary traits, and they exist wherever you go in the world. Now, another question that we've gotten is, do we accept PayPal or cash or checks? And at present, we don't. Checks or cash, that one's obvious. It's kind of a pain in the ass to deal with that. PayPal, we haven't gotten around to integrating it with our checkout system, but we did build our own checkout system from the ground up. We've got an amazing tech team, and we wanted to ensure that it's 100% secure. So when you click on over to the next page, you're going to see a lot of those little trust logos. Now, we do use the highest level of encryption possible. When you enter your credit card information, no human will ever see your full credit card number. It's stored encrypted on our servers, so we can see the last 4 digits, but that's it. And speaking of those trust logos, unlike a lot of other people who sell stuff online, like we didn't just copy and paste those images onto our webpage. You can actually click on them, verify the identity of the website, the security of the checkout page, so you can enter your details with confidence, know you're not going to have any issues, and know that no humans will ever see your full credit card information. Now, the final question that jumps out to me if I was going to buy this is like, is this really guaranteed? And it is the internet, which is a wild, wild west of shopping, but the answer is absolutely 100%. It is guaranteed. I mean, listen, you and I, we don't know each other yet. If I was able to meet you on the street or in the mall and have you come to my office and tell you about this in person, that'd be cool. You could look me in the eye, you could shake my hand, and you could feel a lot more confident about making this. And I wish I could do that on the internet, but it's kind of limited by the fact that it's virtual. So the best I could do is offer this 1-year guarantee and the success guarantee that you're getting, today if you pick it up today. Now, I don't know if you've bought other stuff online, but most companies, they offer 14 days or 30 days, or if they're really generous, 60 days. But I've always insisted on giving our clients a full year to really see how our material changes their lives. And we've got such a long list of happy clients that I'm very comfortable offering this guarantee. And of course, on the off chance that you want to take me up on it, all you got to do is send us an email or call the 800 number. These are both on the email receipt you get when you buy the product, and they're both right there in the private members community. And I've hired 7 people to work at my support desk. 6 of them are Americans. They live in Austin, Texas, and they speak English as a first language. And we actually call them customer happiness representatives because their primary job is to make guys like you happy. And I think that's one of the reasons we have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. When guys write into call us, they get very fast answers, very courteous answers, and they know that we're on their side. So listen, man, I hope this answers some of your big questions. I'm going to sign off now, and I really appreciate you joining me all the way here to the end. I hope you got the information you need to feel confident about buying this course and knowing that it's going to work for you. So go ahead, click on that big orange button below. On the next page, you can meet some of the other guys who bought the course. We've got some great videos from them talking about their experiences. And I know you're going to love the Girlfriend Activation System just as much as they did. So remember, if you get a girlfriend in 6 weeks or less, you can ask for your money back. And if you don't like the course, you can ask for your money back. There's pretty much no way to lose out here unless you leave now, miss out on this one-time test that we're running, and you come back when the course costs more, when it doesn't have the bonuses and doesn't have the success guarantee. So I think you know the smart choice, my man. Here's hoping I see you in the members community and that your success story is the next one that I receive in my inbox.